Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Bitcoin report for Monday, January 24, and this is our primary count that we've been working. And yeah, so this is looking for an expanded flat really. So an expanded flat really takes the top out here, but it also takes the low out here, so we can also expect to the 30,000 to be broken as well. Now I can count this down here in two ways, and we're going to have a look at that as well. So in this case here, as you may know, we've been looking at wave 4 here, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 coming into here, and we're looking for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'll look at that in a bit of detail, but just before we go, what I want to do is just have a look at this countdown here in a slightly different way. And we can see that on this chart here. So this counts slightly different in that we use all of this here as wave 1 to here. I know that you could put wave 1 to here, and some folks have done that, but it just doesn't sort of match up right, because this move up here is in 3 waves, and then this move here is also a very nice ABC pattern. So 1 and 2 here. And then looking at this slightly different with all of wave 3 down to here, then 4 and then 5. So if that's the case, we should nip this low out in that regard as well. So slightly. So when we do come down and bounce quite close to the 30,000, and obviously there's going to be support at 31, 32 and 33, and it's going to be bouncy there, and we may not even get that bounce off the 30,000. It may be a tad higher than that, but the first thing we need to do is just observe this little move moving up through here to figure out if it's corrective or not. But I also want to have a look at the bigger picture as well, and just going into the weekly and in 2 counts here. So this is a count that we've looked at before as well, and in this case here we're looking at counting this up here not as a B wave, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as 5 waves. And you know, there's a really good case for that as well, and we can see the stochastics also coming, you know, quite low down here. So we know that, you know, in one way or another we can look at this as an impulse wave, and it's just you know, those 2 counts that I've just pointed out, they're the 2 possibilities. So yeah, we just got to sort of work through those 2, but in the bigger picture you can see that this is kind of setting up in its way here. So what we need to be mindful of in a nutshell, we're either going to be coming down here and then like heading straight up from that point, or we're going to have an A and a B and a C at that point. So that's what we need to figure out. We'll certainly be looking to trade up through here in, you know, different time degrees and so on. But yeah, this is the main issue here, and this can also be counted slightly differently as well, but it still really gives the same result. And that is, let me just get to here, is this count here. So it's the same thing but slightly different. This is the 78.6, bringing us down a little bit lower at that point. Obviously there's going to be nice support here, and we'll see supports in other ways as well coming through here. You know, this is why we may not reach the 30,000 in this case as well. But they're all sort of small things really, and so just sort of recapping the bigger picture, it doesn't really matter how we look at it, but there's 2 things that can happen really. We finish off down here, and we need to figure out if we've got, like, you know, the 2 little counts that I've mentioned that come in here, and we go straight up, or we go for an A and a B and a C. And if we go for an A, B and a C, it can be counted as 1 and 2, or it could be counted as 3 and 4 at that point. So I guess in the bigger picture, you know, we're still here for quite some time. This is just a monthly chart here, and there's 2 reasons for looking at that. We can just see straight away that well, the move that's moved down through here in these months here, they're moving down on lower volume. So we know that it's corrective and not bullish, because you know, it's just really sort of shaking out all the weak retailers at this point. We're not seeing, you know, we're not seeing increasing volume on each month coming down. So yeah, it's corrective in that sense. But the other point here too is that, you know, whichever way you look at this move up through here, you can see that, you know, it's still quite toppy up here. It hasn't really rebalanced. You know, when we see the 2017 move here, we can see that it's really balanced itself out here. You know, and then it's sort of in a building process at this point. It's, you know, it's building. So this really hasn't balanced out, and it can go two ways. It can either balance out in this space here, as we've just mentioned, in you know, coming down here further to the old lows, and then having a B wave coming back up and checking supply, and then making a stand down here, and then building, you know, in that regard, in building up. And of course, if you know, if Bitcoin was like a hot topic, you know, and the sentiment sort of changed, well, yeah, sure, it can just, you know, push up from that way. You know, if like all the big banks come in and, you know, for whatever reasons, and said it was fantastic and all the rest of it, and, you know, created hype again, well, sure, it would push up. But in the normal flow of markets, then this needs to be, you know, this pattern needs to shore up here. It's overextended to the top side, and it needs to build a base here before it can build off again. So that would be, that's what I'm sort of thinking anyway. So I think we'll probably end up spending more time down here than people think. But all of it's just, you know, these are just like penny stocks. When you look at penny stocks, you know, they could be shooting up to 5 cents or 50 cents and so on. It's all the same. It's all the same psychology and all the same sort of process. Anyway, let's just go back to this chart here. Whoopsie daisy. And you know, let's just look at this situation down here for this. Okay, so first of all, we'll just go to the hourly chart, and then we'll go to the tick chart. So when we spoke last time, we were sort of down through here somewhere, and we'd been looking at wave 4 here, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1, and ABC for 2, and yeah, the markets moved on down further, and so from wave 4 we got wave 1 here and 2 here, and then we've got wave 3 here and wave 4 here, and wave 5 to come down at this further here. Now how it comes into the 30,000 here, I'm not sure. Obviously we'll take the low out here, so it may just come to 31 and then move off from that point. I'm not sure about how far it'll come down. All I can do is count the waves down, and I was expecting this to move a little bit higher here, to come back and check the supply at that point, and the supply would also match up with just taking the top of wave 2 there down to wave 3. The 38.2% retracement level is there. So even if, I mean, as it stands, we'll take a closer look at this. You know, I can see that we can look at it as an A wave here, a B wave here. I can see we've got a clear wave. For the C wave here, we'll need 5 waves. I can see we've got a clear wave 1 and 2 here, and I can squash 5 waves up into here. But I just think we should be a little bit careful in that wave 2 was simple, so wave 4 could be complex. So all of this could just be the A wave, and we could come down 61.8% for a B wave, and then push up for a C wave, and then come down from that point there. So we need to be a little bit careful about wave 4s. Yeah, like I said, it really hasn't tested its supply zone over here as well, sellers at that point, so the resistance. Yeah, but in one way or another we'll be coming down further, and we'll pull this apart where we left off last time, and that's on 100 ticks. I'm doing the Bitcoin video first this morning because it's you know, moved off a fair bit, so maybe 20Ks, yeah. So yeah, last time we spoke we were looking at I'd put wave 1 in here and wave 2 here. I filled in the dots here, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 there. So from wave 2 up here, we're looking down for wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and going down for 5 for wave 3. So I just want to go over that a little bit. So yeah, last time we spoke we had wave 1 and 2 in, and we also had this little wave 1 and 2. I was a little bit unsure about that, but it didn't really matter that much. We've still got 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So I'm just accounting for all the structures at this point. And wave 4 here with a nice little ABC at that point. And this is in 5 waves, so I was thinking of this being wave 1 and an A and a B and a C for wave 2, but it doesn't matter if you've got it here or here. We can resolve that later. The point is we're looking at it, or in fact actually we could look at it. It still doesn't matter. It doesn't matter for the time being. I mean, I just wanted to get this video out so I could go those details a bit later, but it doesn't. We're still left with wave 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here for this wave 5 of 3 here. And then we've got, this is the ABC I just mentioned working through. So here we can look at this as wave A here. Three waves for B. We can look at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1 and 2 here. So I can sort of look at this as 1 and 2 here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for a little third wave. I could probably even put that over here as a C wave. I'm just sort of forcing it here, so I just want to wait a little bit. And like I mentioned, the 38.2% retracement level is a little bit higher up here, so it's possible to look at this as the A wave up here and the B wave coming back here a bit and the C wave up here. So there's not really a trade here yet for any of this. Obviously, to the downside as such, but would need a sort of a bit of a clean break on that if you were looking at that. So just looking at that top there, the support is here. If this support here became the resistance, the 61% became the 62% became the resistance, then you could look to short it. So a classic trading levels pattern sitting here, and you could do that. But we just need to be a little bit careful because we may get another little 5 waves up, checking that this 38 here, the trading levels below the 40,000. Well, from 30,000 is 1, 2, 3 for group 1, and then the midpoint for 5, and then 8. When we're talking about 8, we can put in group 2, which is 3650 and 3720, but you can do that. So anyway, look, that's where we are there. Now the other little count that I mentioned as well is that in this count we've just got this coming down here. Right, this. The other count that we've got for this is that we can have one more correction here, which will be larger than this one, and then one more move down, which will take us down into, well, 28's the first one here, but 26.5, or maybe even the 25 at that point. But there will be buyers down here. So yeah, we either got this as the low or we got this as the low. So in this move up here, it's something that we just need to work through. So in the bigger picture, coming down here, all of this coming down, is that we can have the low in here for this, or we need to look at this here as the wave 3 here, just the variation of this count, and then looking at copying this and looking at wave 4 coming back up. And we'll talk about that target a bit more, and then a wave 5 coming down lower after that. That's the alternative count at this point. So we have to work the low, but what I'm thinking is that once we've got, we need to work through this. This is going to be a bit of an issue, but once we can work it out, if it's going to be impulsive or corrective, then we can look to move in. So we could probably start to build in through here, but we'd probably have to, as a trader, I can build you in through here, but at some point, if I recognize that it's going to be a corrective move, then we're going to have to bail from that trade. It could be break even, it could be a bit of profit, all of those sort of things. And then we have to work the low again. And if we have to work it from this low, at least at this point here, we know we're going to be, moving back up and retesting close to 50,000 at that point, anywhere from 45 to 50 at that point, the 50-60% retracement level at that point. So just going back to go back to this one first, just to recap this a little bit. So at the moment, this is what we're looking at, a little rally in here and then down, okay? And the other count is on this chart, where we have a look at a slightly different count. So we're still coming down into this point. So I don't know if we're going to get this and then down in that regard. So it's something that we need to like work through. And this one here will, you know, even though the market's been coming down, you know, reasonably quickly, it's going to hang on to this number here, you know, and it'll do that from the 28, the 25 at that particular point. And this is also moving down really in line with other assets like the S&P 500. Now, there is normally a correlation between the two and an inverse on the US dollar and all the rest of it, but normally you sort of take them with a pinch of salt, and those correlations would be within a 6-month range, and sometimes they really meet nicely, and then you need to take the halvings into consideration, because they will move out from each other at those points as well. But that will become less and less. So they're the two sorts of things that we've got on the low here anyway. And the other point, just coming back to the weekly chart here, and this is just, yeah, so just on this chart here, we can look at it as wave 3 here. This is the alternative count. And in that case, we would be looking for a B wave up to the 50-60% retracement level, and then down again at that point. So even when we do get onto, we've got to resolve the bottom, we can trade up, and but we also need to figure out if we've got a B wave at this point, if that's going to be wave 3 here, or this can be wave 1 over here as well in that case. So it doesn't really matter how you look at it. We just still need to be careful as this moves up here. We need to identify. The trouble with a B wave is that, you know, it's a 5-3-5 structure, and it's really the same as an impulse wave. It's the same thing as, so, but there might be a few little telltale signs that we can figure out in all of that as well. And sometimes the B wave can be, you know, quite sort of complicated. So there's, you know, it may reveal itself sooner than we expect as well. But yeah, I don't want to buy hope at that particular point. So yeah, look, the takeaway is the move down is on lower volume. So I do see it as corrective, not some big bear market that's going to take us, you know, back down into these lows, so to speak. Yeah, the indicators suggesting that we're going to see a move up off these lows here. That would only be natural as well. So the move up here, we just got to figure out if it's going to be bullish or impulsive, or it's going to be corrective, and that will take a little bit of time. But in the meantime, I think that we'll be looking for trades up into that point, you know, up there as well. So and for hodlers, well, you know, just keep dollar cost averaging, because, you know, this, you know, in penny stocks, you know, they're just all reoccurring patterns. So, you know, this thing here is just a bigger version moving through time and space of these ones here. So it'll eventually, you know, finish off. So don't panic, you know, just see it as an opportunity, and just keep collecting your coins, you know, and take a 10-year view. That's what I'm doing. And, you know, I've got a fair, you know, I mean, everybody's, you know, does what they can, you know, it doesn't matter. I mean, there's always somebody that's, you know, bigger and better and got more than you and all that sort of stuff. But whatever it is to you, you know, just take a long-term view and just see it as an opportunity. So, you know, if you do buy some down here as a hodler, and then it still comes back down here, well, just consider yourself lucky, and gives you another chance to get it, because you're not going to get it, you know, it's like down here, you're not going to get it at those prices again. You're not going to get it here, you know, you're not going to get it here. So anything in here is just your good fortune. So, and that's the way I see it. But I'm a half glass kind of guy, full. So I'll leave it all at that. So thanks for tuning in. Much appreciated. Cheers.